Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Bear Bard Tales. It is I, the one bear who binged through all of Arcane and now cares about League lore, even though I never cared about the game before, the Bear Bard. Today we have a couple stories for you straight from the fiery bowels of r/RPG horror stories. But first, if you enjoy this kind of content, make sure to give that subscribe button some love. Every sub I get gets me one step closer to creating the cult of the Bear Bard. I just need robes, a compound, decorations, punch, and I don't know, maybe some snacks? Ooh, and cookies. Every good cult needs cookies. While I plan this out, why don't we get to the first story titled, Found the Group Chat About Trying to Sleep With Me. This might be a little long because a few things happened during the campaign. First off, for the longest time, I was the only girl in a party of 7. Although this isn't as dramatic or as awful as other stories, it still makes me angry when I think about it. About 3 years ago, I made a post on Instagram offering to DM 5e for anyone that was interested because my previous party had split up after leaving college. I was quickly approached by an old high school friend, Jack, who said he had a group all gathered. I was welcome to come and meet everyone and decide if we all got along well. Jack was always very sweet in high school, so I agreed and we all met at his flat that weekend to play a few non-D&D related games together and get pizza. After a few hours, we started talking about characters, ideas, rules, etc. I suggested we talk about our boundaries in game, so everyone knew what we were getting into. I'm a relaxed DM. I don't mind if a player decides to sleep with the barmaids as long as it doesn't fuck with the game. The only thing I said I would not do, period, was rape. Everything else was at the discretion of everyone. This is important to know. Fast forward to actually playing. I'm not sure if other people have done this before, but I ran the Death House part of Curse of Strahd for about 4 sessions, till everyone was comfortable playing together. Then homebrewed a campaign from that. The guys were all pretty great up until that point. However, one of them, we'll call him Mike, began to make a few awkward comments to me. Just as an aside, I actually like this idea of running part of a campaign and then making it up from there. It's a nice way of cherry picking some of the best of what Wizards offers, but still making it your own. Mike decided to play a bard and took my "I don't care if you hook up with NPCs" very seriously. He tried to fuck every single female. It got to the point where I had to speak with him out of game. He got very passive aggressive by telling me I had already said it was okay. Despite this, he did calm down a bit and we continued playing. A few sessions later, Mike tries to rape a female orc while she's restrained and unconscious as the party was elsewhere. I'm not even sure of his motive here, but he tried to make his explanations of his actions vague enough that they weren't specifically rape, but obviously were anyway. I stopped the game immediately and told him if he didn't quit it, he was out for the rest of the session. He laughed with his buddies, then stopped. Later that night, he sent me a hand-drawn picture of an orc, clearly modeled after myself, with his character grabbing her boobs. I told him that shit was inappropriate and he wasn't welcome at the next session. The next day, he calls me in tears, saying he was really sorry and had drank way too much the night before. He also admitted he had a crush on me but didn't know how to convey that. I politely told him I was flattered but not interested and let him back into the party. The rest of the party had been trying to convince me to let him back into the game because he hadn't done that much wrong anyway. Yes, I'm an idiot. Apart from that event, I had been having fun with the campaign. Mike is no longer a douchebag at that session. He's quiet and one of the guys tells me that I embarrassed him and now he's struggling to connect. Not my problem. It's seriously not her problem. I cannot stress this enough. If you go out of your way and act like an asshole, then people call you out on it. Any resulting awkwardness is on you, not on them. This applies in all situations, not just where it's an awkward attempt at flirting. You're free to say what you want to say, but not free from the consequences of your actions. Fast forward a few more weeks and things are getting weird again. 2 more members of the party have attempted asking me out on dates. I once again politely decline and carry on. The sessions are now a little awkward for me because all of the guys are flirting with pretty much every female NPC I place in the game. Slowly but surely, within a week, another guy confesses his love to me. I'm no longer enjoying these sessions, so I plan on finishing up my story branch, then calling it a day with the campaign and leaving. Not even a day later, Jack sends me about 20 screenshots from a private group chat of the boys. They literally had bets on who could sleep with me first. The entire group chat was discussing ways they could flirt or seduce me, a few screenshots of my own conversations between them, etc. It was so awful to look at because I thought these guys had actually been enjoying my sessions, but I was basically there just as a game myself. Jack told me he was incredibly sorry he hadn't said anything sooner, and that he was about to pull out of the campaign because of them. I told the party over Discord that I knew what was going on and that I was disgusted and would not DM for them again. I think I added in that none of them were even close to being physically attractive to me, and then I left. It's been a while since this happened, but I still haven't heard from any of those guys again. I think the craziest part about this story is that I've actually seen other very similar stories. Like, this isn't a one-off case. I just don't get why we can't get in groups and game without dealing with extra BS like this. First off, I've said it before, I will never understand why people think these weird attempts at flirting in-game will work on people. Like, I get that people are socially awkward, but come on. I feel like I've heard better love stories on the hub than this weird freaking attempt. I mean, you try to cap it off with freaking assault, when that's the one and only thing she told you in the beginning she wouldn't allow in the game. So you follow that up with, well, if she hated that, she'll love this picture. Like, bro, get the fuck out. Then you sit around moping? You brought this on yourself, dude. Your actions have consequences, and now you have to deal with them. And then this ending. In all honesty, they probably actually did enjoy her campaign, but then they had to ruin it with some stupid-ass bet straight from a teen flick from 1998. Hell, not another teen movie even made fun of this type of stupidity. But her seeing this makes it tough for her to believe they actually liked what she did creatively, and that's just garbage. I really hope she finds a group to play with that doesn't suck. As a side note, I saw people in the comments saying stuff about how she shouldn't have said that none of them were attractive enough for her, and honestly, I don't blame her for it one bit. They reduced her, so in that moment she did the same. Is it the high road? Maybe not, but I wouldn't say she's wrong for doing it. But now for the next story, which takes things in a very different direction, titled, That Time I Had to Tell Someone to Leave and Go to the Hospital. This is recent-ish, so I've had this campaign that's been going on for roughly 10 sessions now. However, this is not so much about that as it is about the player who did not want to leave the game. So the setting is actually Mech 20. Think Mech Warrior, but in the style of D&D. I have a player that doesn't look right, pale, sweating, and confused. Head clearly not in the game, but keeps swearing up and down he's just fine. Just ate something bad, it'll pass, kind of thing. He keeps going to the bathroom every 30 to 45 minutes. We are through our third combat encounter when he suddenly gets up rushing to the restroom and clearly puking. I go back and check on him cleaning up, and he makes excuses, saying he already feels better. About 15-ish minutes later, he heads back into the bathroom again. His wife, who is also playing, says that he keeps having to pee every 30 to 45 minutes. Wow, those symptoms sound extremely familiar. He comes back out and sits down looking the same as before, and I stop the game. I ask him if he's been peeing a lot lately. He says yeah. I ask him if he's been extremely thirsty lately. He says yeah. You know where this is going. I hand him my blood sugar tester and told him, let's skip the argument and prove me wrong, will you? He starts going off about how he doesn't have diabetes and he just ate something wrong and the reason he is thirsty is because of blah blah blah. I just smugly tell him to prove me wrong. So he does, and I hear a sound that my blood sugar tester has never made for me before. It just says, high. On my tester, if it says high, it means it's over 500 blood sugar. For those of you who do not know, this is head to the hospital right now territory. Over 500 BGC for too long and you can start going into organ failure. He wants to continue playing. No, I am not kidding you. He wants to continue playing. At first, I go along with it and we finish out the combat when I kinda snapped to my senses. I then forcibly ended the game and made it very clear to his wife that he will die or be permanently changed if he doesn't go to the hospital now. I convinced his wife and he starts acting like a child, saying he will refuse to go inside and just to leave him alone. I remind him that we work at the same place and that his insurance is PPO like mine, so a hospital visit won't break the bank. His wife finally got it in her head that I am being deadly serious right now and lays down the law on him. But she says she will call her family doctor and visit them whenever they are open. This starts an argument with me, her, and the other players whom all saw what I went through before finding out I was type 2. So she compromises and calls the doctor's 24/7 line. When she tells the 24/7 line that the BGC was over 500, the lady asks for her location and if she's close to a hospital. The seriousness of the situation sunk into both of them at this point and they went to the hospital. All throughout, he was angry that we were not continuing the game. It wasn't till he kind of admitted to himself that no, he was not fine, that he realized that something was wrong. He got put on metformin, which means he spent roughly 2 months in the toilet until his body acclimated to the drug's side effects. Wow. Just for some context, a normal person's blood sugar should never go above 140, and that's after eating a big meal. For someone who is undiagnosed, or even most diagnosed type 2s, anything above 300 is get checked immediately territory. I feel like the dude in this story perfectly embodies that meme with the sign, it's like this year thousands of men will die of stubbornness. And then someone wrote in, no we won't. I get that as dudes we don't want to admit when something's wrong. A lot of us are taught that we need to power through everything and that we can't be weak or need help. But something like this, you have to know something's wrong. I know you don't want to, but if you need help, get it. And that's for all situations, not just if you're throwing up over and over in a friend's bathroom. And not to get too preachy here, but this really is a hell of a disease. I know a lot of us kind of joke about it, and don't get me wrong, I will never stop saying diabetes. But it really is killing so many people out there. I've seen it affect way too many people around me to take it lightly. Make sure to stay safe and healthy out there. I do apologize if this episode was a bit too preachy. I don't mean for it to be, I just get ranty. But now that the PSAs are done, let's move on to this week's bear fact. The sun bear is the smallest of the bear species. It's also the one we know least about. You can find sun bears in the tropic lowland forests of Southeast Asia. The shapes on their chest that give them their namesakes are unique to each bear and never repeat. They tend to eat honey, fruits, and invertebrates. They're particularly known for keeping termite levels in check. Due to abundant food supplies, they don't need to hibernate and instead build nests up in the trees to sleep. Imagine looking up and seeing a freaking bear in a nest. I sleep in a den like a normal bear, thank you very much. But I think that's going to do it for me today. I want to thank all of you for all the support. It means a ton to me that you enjoy the work I put out there. With that said, if you liked this video, then make sure to give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to connect with me outside of YouTube, you can connect with me on Discord, Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. You can also check out the Bear Bard Tales podcast if that's your sort of thing. For now though, this has been the Bear Bard. Stay kind, stay beautiful, and keep on living that bard life.